any means necessary. What you have can save not just America, but this whole planet. Change upon our shoulders. It's going to be our job to revolutionize the world. Change will only come through struggle.
Бунт, погром, восстание, масса угнетенных.
Everything that is wrong for our people. Like the XL pipeline, that's wrong for these children. They need water, good water to drink. So we must stop that XL pipeline. The uranium mining in the Black Hills, you know, water is life. Without water, the trees won't grow. Without water, the grass won't grow. 80% of our body is water. So we stop here in front of Camp Justice with the courage to stand up and say no to white America. But all the indigenous people here are still alive, standing up and saying no more, no more. Yeah. So this stop here by Camp Justice is for courage. And we never give up our courage. We must always stand up for one another. We must always stand up for one another and our people. 15 years ago when we marched into Whiteclay, they had their snipers there. They had their dogs there. They had their tear gas there. They had the National Guard further south of Whiteclay. And the only weapons the March for Justice had was our future, the children. The only weapons we had was the women, the strength that bore the children, that they become leaders one day. The only weapons we had was our spirituality, our prayer. The only weapons we had was our elders, of their wisdom. I went in there. Now we're a sacred people. We do it peaceful now. Way back to Crazy Horse days, Sitting Bull days, Paul days, Joseph days, Geronimo days, they protected a way of life. That's all they wanted. If they were alive today, they would have been criminals. We've always been on the defense, defending a way of life, defending the future, these young ones here. Once we go on the offense, then they call us offenders. The largest growing reservations today are the prisons. Many of our people are in prisons today. I had the honor, still have the honor to go visit our relatives in the prison. Last year I went to visit Leonard Peltier. I was honored to see him.
Oh, what's there?
I'm their relative. A lot of us, we can't make it to see our relatives in the prisons. If they were all free today, they'd be marching with us today. No, that's all we wanted in life, to be free. To be free to live as Lakota people. All we wanted from white America was a leave us alone policy. Let us live by our custom laws. Let us live by our traditional laws. Let us live by our tribal laws. That's all we wanted. Leave us alone. To me, Camp Justice is sovereign land. Always be sovereign land. Lakota. Everybody is welcome there. So I'm gonna offer tobacco for courage. And then we go in the Whiteclay Hall. Mamela.
What's that?
Now we go into Red Clay, South Dakota. Not White Clay, Red Clay. All the blood that was shed there, the people that lost their lives there. third one in the past 15 years, in the past 50 years that went down. I remember my brother, Kenny Loudhouse, used to march with us. One of them got by Camp Justice in Socket, he went down. He was with us, everyone else. Welcome to Whiteclay, South Dakota. Whiteclay. Years ago, when we first started marching, there used to be a post office right here. The U.S. Post Office, Whitekkklay Nebraska. We took that down and put it Whiteclay, South Dakota. So this was part of our land, the treaty land. But during the Dawes Act, you know, they took this land away from us. From 1851 to 1858 treaty. Camp Justice filed a lawsuit against the state of Nebraska on that. Went as far as the Nebraska Supreme Court. Said that the Camp Justice didn't have enough money to go on to the 8th Circuit of Appeals in St. Louis, Missouri. So this is treaty land. All the way to the Cranberry River. All the way to Dakota. South Dakota. West of the Black Hills, all the way to the Missouri River. All that. There was only 2 people that didn't sign a treaty. That was Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull. And they were killed for it. They were murdered by their own people. Sitting Bull, BIA police. Crazy Horse, no big man. They were assassinated because their voice was too strong. Once you oppose the white government, the white man, they'll do anything to silence you. But silence is a betrayal. You can't betray yourself by being quiet. You must always speak and share your visions, your heart, your mind with everyone. We all must always stand up for the rights of our people. Even in the Constitution of the Oglala Sioux tribe, we have to stand up for the rights of our people. Every elected official, from councilmen to vice presidents to presidents, it's in the Constitution. We must stand up for the rights of our people, no matter what district they're from. And that's what Camp Justice does. That's what the American Indian movement does. We stand up for the rights of our people. And I can sit here all afternoon and remember all the names of the brotherhood and the sisterhood that we lost. Way back to Pedro Bassinet, Buddy Lamont, Angel Martinez, June Little, Bo Little, Webster Forebear, and go on and on. Even Richard Oakes, who took over Alcatraz in 1969, was killed by his own people. His daughter died on that island. Richard Oakes' daughter in 1969. I was just a little Hochschild then, but the names still are in my mind today. And everyone here today, you'll always be in my heart, my mind. And I'll Flabablo for coming together today. Show the force of unity. All I can say is, aho, lila Flabablo. On behalf of Wilson, Wally, Blackout Jr., and Ron Hardart, for joining us on the March for Justice. I embrace each and every one of you, even the young ones, the future right there, for being here today. Aho, Flabablo. I want to mention, we got soup cooking at Camp Justice, so everybody's welcome to come eat. We kind of got a late start today, so the soup and the fried bread and everything else, the cakes, they'll be done in about a half hour, so everybody's welcome to come eat down in the Camp Justice site. I just wanted to mention that. Oh, Flabablo, and once again, thank you very much, everyone.
we're here with Olowa, and we were just part of and filmed a March for Justice down here. And could you tell us a little bit about, what it was all about and what was going on?
Okay, over 15 years ago, Wallace, Black Elk, and Ron Hardheart were found murdered just right over here, and their bodies were mutilated. And ever since then, there's been no justice for them. There's always hearsay about what happens, that there were some young white men who come into Whiteclay very regularly and they beat on the street people. So, Wallace and Ron, they have homes and they have land and families and everything, but they choose, their addiction brings them here, brings everyone here. And they were here one night and someone came across them. I don't know the exact story of what happened, but they were murdered, very brutally. There was a lot of rumors about what happened, but again, I'll say it again, there's never been any justice for Wallace and Ron. There's never been no one's never served time, no one's ever been charged criminally for their deaths. It's as if they don't matter in the eyes of some. But to us, those are our relatives. So we've been coming here for 15 years marching against Whiteclay. There's been so many actions against this little border town right here. There's only 12 people that are registered to live in this town, a population of 12. And they're making, anywhere $3 million a year selling alcohol to our people. And they say, drinking alcohol is a choice, but if you're a chronic addicted to alcohol, no, it's not a choice. There is no choice in the matter. So we have a lot of relatives that live on the streets up here all year round. It could be dead of winter and you'll find relatives still panhandling on the street for their drink here. And they try to say that, it's our fault. And it's not their fault. These liquor store bar owners, some of them are generational. Their white privilege has them believing that they have the right to continue to do this to our nation. And, our generation, the generation of born free thinkers, we're saying hell no, not anymore.
Now, what's the next step?
Well, there's many steps being taken right now.
Watch out behind you.
I was smart.
Is there going to be issues here?
Oh yeah, well, I personally have charges, pending charges and outstanding warrants in Nebraska, which is why I didn't. Yeah, which is why I didn't. No, we're cool
okay.
Right where we're at.
Okay.
Which is why I didn't march through, because I got these warrants and they're trying to pin a lot of the things on myself. And T.R. McKenzie, he's one of our allies, and he has charges and he's on probation as we speak right now to stay out of Whiteclay for our direct actions that we took here. We wanted to bring really strong awareness to this place, and the only way that we thought as young people are going to shake the cages of not only these bar owners but the mentality of our relatives is to shake some cages, just let them know that things are going to change. So we did some direct action, some very direct action that took place here, and we're proud of that fact, because the distributor all the way in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, he knows who we are. We had to single out his trucks a few times, so that way he knew that we're serious about this. So everyone's approach to to get rid of Whiteclay is different. I personally believe that the only way to do it is direct action. We're going to have to literally take it down ourselves, and we can follow the lead of our relatives who cleansed their town in Harding, Montana. They did the same thing there. They went through their whole town in one night and burned every single bar and liquor store down. They did that for their love of their community. And, for the love of my nation, I'm willing to do these things, but we have elders, we have protocol, so as young people, we have to follow those also. So I really believe there will come a time when our relatives here, when the homeland, they're going to just finally say, let's do this. It's in our hands, because right now it's in the hands of the court, it's in the hands of politicians, and the hands of corporations, and any of those entities. They don't care about us. They don't care about the little kids being beat, being neglected, being murdered, being raped, being molested by alcoholic-induced family rage. That's what's happening here. Nobody wants to address it. No one wants to speak on it, but that's what's going on here. Every single alcoholic, drunk person who goes home to the reservation, they torment. They do. And I always, in my own healing, I have to accept what I did to my own family when I was torturing myself with alcohol. And it took a lot of hard lessons and harsh lessons to pull me out of that cycle. But today, I march here every year. I come here. I want Whiteclay to know that I am their enemy. And if that goes as far as Nebraska knowing and feeling and believing I'm their enemy, so be it. Fuck them all. They don't want to address our nation and have respect for us. Well, karma's a bitch, and you get what you give. I love my nation. I love the Oglala people. We're the fiercest warrior tribe of them all. That's us. So all we can do is just try to pass on hope and inspiration and encouragement that our children, they're sacred bloodlines. They're not just tumbleweeds blowing along the earth. We have roots that go generations back to creation. This is our continent. This is ours. Every 10-year-old that sees us marching today, they know that Whiteclay's the enemy, and that's going to keep coming and keep coming. And when those 10-year-olds are 15 and 20, they're also going to be enemies of alcohol.
What are some things that people who might see this that want to get involved, want to support this cause, what are some things that they can do, or websites, or any outreach, any ways that they can get involved?
I would say, look for Nebraska's commissioners, Sheridan County. That's what county is right behind me. Start contacting them. Sheriff Terry Robbins, he's up for re-election for sheriff right now. But he's been on duty for years, and look at this place. It hasn't changed. He's not doing his job. Maybe they need to retire him, and then bring in some younger people, someone that we can relate to, someone who has compassion and who isn't drowned out with their white privilege and whatever else, I could say, but I won't. There's generational racism all around us, and I just want to say we have red supremacists too, and it won't be too hard for us to call on them and get them here either. So as young people, we'll stand back and be peaceful, but only for so long. My worst fear is for another woman to be raped here. While we were here at our camp, 2 women were raped and beaten. Like I said, there's groups of young people that come in here and they think it's fun or something, and they beat on all the street people. They come and kick them up with their cowboy boots and call them prairie niggers and worthless and, call them names. And that hurts my feelings because, whether they're blood related to me or not, they're my relatives. They're Oglalas. They got sacred bloodlines. I don't care how drunk they are. We still fight for them, even though they will fight for Whiteclay against us. But it's just all a love for our nation. So like I said, a lot of the families here that are here today, their families, they're relatives of Ron and Wally. And we come here to remember them because just the way they died, and how they suffered.
Hello everyone, we are here with Tom Poorbear at Camp Justice in South Dakota. Tom, tell us a little bit about June 8th, 1999, and other history, events, and struggles that you have and are dealing with today.
When I first got involved with the American Indian movement, it was in 1972. I was in boarding school. And boarding school didn't teach us nothing of our ancestors. Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, Gall, Geronimo, Red Shirt, all our ancestors. One time boarding school, they showed me a picture of George Washington. Said, "Poor Bear, this is the father of your country." I looked at that picture of George Washington. I seen a white man wearing a white wig, a fluffy blouse, high heel shoes, and pedal pushers and wooden teeth. I knew that wasn't my daddy.
Yeah.
So anyway, at that time in 1972, a Lakota man by the name of Raymond Yellow Thunder was beaten and burnt with cigarettes and made the dance in a Legion Hall in Gordon, Nebraska. Next day they found his body in the trunk of an abandoned car. 2 white ranchers did that to him, killed him. They didn't go to jail for it. The American Indian movement came to Pine Ridge and we marched on Gordon. And the way the American Indian movement talked, it's like they gave our identity back to us. That it's time to be a warrior. It's time to stand up. We didn't want our people killed no more. In 1890 in Wounded Knee, over 300 men, women, and children were killed by the 7th Cavalry. 7 Congressional Medals of Honor were given to the cavalry for killing babies and women and old people. You know, it's just that frontier mentality. Don't go away. Don't go away. It makes my heart full of sadness when I have to tell the history of our people, our ancestors. But the American Indian movement, it gave us courage to stand up again, say no more, no more. So we organized the Trail of Broken Treaties to Washington, D.C., where we took over the BIA building in Washington. We occupied that building for 2 weeks. We told the BIA, you can't boss us around no more. We're the true landlords. So after 1972, February 27th of 1973, we took over Wounded Knee. We occupied Wounded Knee because the women, the elders, they were tired of corruption within our area government. We were tired of our treaties being violated. The 1851 treaty, the 1868 treaty. That was a government-to-government agreement. Our ancestors held up to their agreement, but once again, white America, the white government, they didn't fulfill their agreement, their obligation to the treaty tribes. So that's why we occupied Wounded Knee. We told the world that the indigenous people were still alive, that we were standing up for who we really are. We gave a lot of our people their identity back. We brought our Sundance home, our spiritual way of praying, the sweat lodge. And then after Wounded Knee, I stood in solidarity with many other nations in the Western Hemisphere, standing up for their rights. Their right to live as our ancestors lived. And then I continued to stand in solidarity with many other nations. When Wally and Ron were murdered and their bodies left below Camp Justice here, I was Sergeant at Arms of a tribal council 15 years ago, 1999. In 2004, I became a tribal council member. And I continued our plight for justice. In 2010, I became vice president of the Oglala Lakota Nation, who I am today. To this day, I've always believed in unity. To me, true unity creates creative ideas, which creates creative flow. And I've been involved in the prisons. I go to the prisons a lot, visit our relatives in the prisons. Right now, the prisons are probably the fastest growing reservations to this day, where a lot of our people are being locked up. But I'm their relatives. Even today when we marched, and I always tell the brothers and sisters in the prisons that they may lock your body up, but your spirit is still free. Today when we marched, their spirit was with us. Even the spirit of the ancestors were with us. Made my heart beat good today. My chest swelled because of the young people that were with us today, the elders, the women in the American Indian movement. We're going to continue to live. We're going to continue to march until justice is served. In Lakota, I always say, haho, etcetera. That's the way it is.